This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by freerussellcanning.com. On March 25th, I had a chance to have a disturbing conversation, a very quick conversation, with the Army National Guard commander in New Hampshire, and I had promised to recount that conversation, just now getting around to it, and it's April 1st, 2008. I was moving so fast and on my way somewhere I didn't have a chance to really interview him on tape. I didn't ask him. I just wanted to talk to him real briefly, and I did do that. I didn't manage to get his, he gave me his name, but I forgot what it was, so I'm not going to try and claim that I know exactly who it was. I think I know, but I'm not going to say, because what I have to report is pretty disturbing, and I don't want to accuse someone falsely of being the person that said it. I was over at the State House, just saw a couple people in camos, and figured one of them was probably a National Guard commander, and I was right. I asked him what he was there for. We talked about it. It was nothing of any great newsworthiness. He was going to testify on some bill at a committee hearing, or at least make himself available to the reps regarding some information they needed. I tried to be extremely polite and nice to this guy because I had something explosive to ask him. They don't like to be asked this in the National Guard. I said, basically, I asked if he was aware of the use of National Guard troops in New Orleans to enter the homes of peaceable people and seize their firearms. His answer was, basically, New Hampshire troops were not involved in that, which is an improvement over the answer I got from the last Guard commander I talked to, who pretty much denied that it even happened, or at least expressed disbelief that it happened. I asked this current commander whether he would go into people's homes like that if he were ordered to, and he said basically he would do it if the law, he wouldn't do it if it was against the law, he would do it if the law let him. He seemed to indicate he wasn't real clear on what all the law was, and I said, well, you could just carry a copy of the Constitution. And he laughed, not in a malicious way, but in a friendly way, and said, well, I don't know how to, and I don't know if I can read it all at once. He said he would have a JAG with him, a military attorney of some kind, to tell him what was and wasn't legal. I said, well, the Constitution is probably shorter than your JAG, and he laughed again, and he said, well, my JAG is not very tall. So at that point, I said, well, please don't come into my house. And he said, well, if the law allows me to, I'll come in. So what that meant to me was these, barracks that we see around New Hampshire, where National Guard are housed. This is where our own oppression could be housed, right next to us. I'm always the kind of person that have traditionally thought of the military as our protectors. I was one of the yellow ribbon people. I sent care packages to Iraq just like everybody else. And this is what I get in return. I get National Guard breaking down people's doors in New Orleans, and I get my own National Guard commander telling me he would do it to me. Possibly. I made a point of thanking him for what I, was sure was many heroic things that he and his men had probably done over the years. He said, yeah, we helped a lot of people, and I said, thanks for that, but the weapons confiscation issue is degrading the Guard's image, and Katrina is on people's minds. Another thing, actually, that I found more disturbing than anything that this commander said was really the expression on the face of his subordinate. That guy was looking at me as though, hey, I'm coming into your house. By the way, this is actually video of Border Patrol, but they are going door to door in New Hampshire, going into New Orleans, going into apartments after Katrina. Something I forgot to mention is that, and this I should mention in fairness to the commander, one of the first things he said when I asked him if he would go into someone's house, to seize their weapons or something like that, if ordered to. He said it would depend on circumstance. So he was saying a little bit more than just, if the law allows me to, I'll do it. It was also he would take into account the factors surrounding the situation. One thing I forgot to tell the New Hampshire commander, and again I was in kind of a rush to get somewhere else, I forgot to tell him that New Hampshire does have a law that forbids anyone from seizing weapons that way during a crisis. New Hampshire passed the law either in 2006 or 2007, I believe. By the way, I don't know if I made this clear, but they were going into occupied homes, homes occupied by peaceable people in dry parts of New Orleans. It was on ABC World News Tonight. I'm going to post a link to that video. I'm not going to include ABC video in my video. I don't think that would be lawful, but what I am going to do is include a link to the ABC story so that you can watch it for yourself. Your tax dollars hard at work stealing the property of your fellow peaceable Americans. And your military hard at work for that purpose as well. I've always thought of the U.S. military as one of the least bad branches of the U.S. government, and it looks like even they are being infected now. 2 New Hampshire Guard national commanders out of 2 have given me very disturbing answers to this question. Anyway, I thought I'd just update you on that. This will be something I'll be able to look into better next time I have a little time and a camera and try to interview some of these people more in depth about this kind of thing. This is Dave Ridley signing out for ridleyreport.com this April 1st, 2008. I wish this were an April Fool's joke, but I'm afraid it's not. Oh, one more thing. They say in a civilized society there are no debtors' prisons. So why is this New Hampshire man in jail over a debt? Did he even borrow any money? Can authorities be trusted to handle Russell Canning fairly? These are not the tough questions. Those will appear in Mark Stevens' petition to the court. FreeRussellCanning.com is raising $300 to fund the petition, and it could use your help. FreeRussellCanning.com